About not going live yesterday, but Phil and I were actually at a real estate conference for the whole week, and I think that's where he is still right now. Looks like you're
Yep.
still at the Caesars, huh?
Yeah, I am. I
Did the
am.
event end yesterday?
Yeah, the event ended yesterday, and the event that we both went to was BPCON in Las Vegas,
Woo!
guys. Woo.
No, like it was. I think it was a really good experience. It was good to see some old friends. It was good to meet some new friends, but
hmm
I guess the topic of the day is should you go or should you not go to real estate conferences and
Yeah,
what you can get out of
that's
it. So,
it's a good topic to touch on because since we just finished one, and there are different types of conferences out there. There's not just one conference, and BPCon, Bigger Pockets, is the abbreviation or the acronym of it. And I think it's really healthy to go to these events if you are a solo kind of guy in your own like black box working in this business because it can get very lonely and you don't even know like the suffering that goes into it because you feel like the suffering is worse when you're doing it by yourself, and then when you go to this conference you can obviously relate to the suffering and people are like, I had the same problem, oh my god, you go through the same issue and all that stuff. And then furthermore you can actually find partners, lenders, more leads,
yeah.
software, everything under the sun basically.
I I think I found it hilarious about the oh my gosh, I'm not the only one suffering. I think the biggest thing at these conferences is going to like a local meetup is cool, right? It's really good for, starters. It's good to build like your roots in like the local market and stuff. But in these local markets, you're confined to whoever is there, right? You'll notice in these small meetups, like you'll see the same people every week, every month, and they're all doing the same things. But when you go to these like conferences, right? These like
Yeah.
nationwide, thousands of people, and I think BPCon had about 2,000 people attend.
Yep.
Um, and they're all from all over the country. They do all different strategies, and it kind of you get to meet entrepreneurs that do different things, doing it at various scales below you, right at your level, and above your level. And you get to be inspired. You get to meet new friends and connections that you wouldn't normally have if you didn't go. And 9 out of 10 times, these are very affordable for what you get. But you're mute. See, he's having some technical difficulties partying up in the Caesars Palace right now in Vegas. But yeah, while he gets his technical difficulties done, BPCon is pretty affordable. It's like 900 bucks for like a 3 4 day event. Um, all the conferences kind of wiggle around the same price. They'll kind of vary between the $1,000, $2,000. Oh, I think I hear you now. Oh wait, say something. Kind of.
Is it
Yeah, you're
better?
back.
Kind of. Okay. Yeah, yeah. It's had some issues. I was to my phone, but yeah. Go back to what you were saying that it's affordable and all that stuff for BPCon. It can be actually depending on where you're at in the business. Honestly, there's people that start in the business that are just starting off that don't have money, in which I get it, and I think when you're starting off in the business, this may not be appropriate to go to. But I think when you have maybe 1 to 2, maybe even 3 deals under your belt, I feel like it could be a great resource for you to go in, meet some new folks, get some more energy, refresh, find a partner, find a new vendor, find lenders. I think honestly, it's it's a good space to kind of jump into once you have some like more knowledge industry in the business. Um, and on top of that, you can actually find your people. Like for example, here uh, we ended up going to a couple of good network like after parties, and we found a couple of partners for our potential deal that we have going on. And let's see what else. Oh, even actually more ideas that we can implement in different parts of our businesses, partnerships that we can utilize. For example, we are looking for hedge funds for to dispose 61 properties out of Dallas, Texas, and I'll let kind of Tim talk about that. But like these events, you can find hedge funds, you can find buyers for your deals, and build a better, like stronger network connections to move deals, get deals, and anything else in between.
Yeah, I think these conferences are overwhelming. They're overwhelming in general, but I think if you were a brand new beginner and you go to these conferences, it kind of gets to the point where like there's like too much going on. There's
Yeah.
all these different workshops, there's all these people in the hallway talking about all this random stuff. But if you were to be very tactical, right? Me and Phil talk about being very focused and being tactical because a lot of these people go to these events and they just talk to everybody. They talk to like 60
Yeah.
people, they get 60 blank cards and never reach out to anybody afterwards. Um, when you go to these things, like what I recommend you guys do is be very focused on what you're doing. So, every person I talked to, I either talked about our Baltimore commercial real estate deal, one, to build credibility, and then two, to find potential future investors, right? Oh, wow, commercial, like, how do you get invested in that? Like, well, do you want to be active or do you want to be passive? And everybody passive, I always make sure I get their information to be like, hey, there's other opportunities where I can teach you and also make you money in a more passive way. The second thing I was doing was telling everybody that I had a 61 single family portfolio deal that one of our students brought us. So, someone in our community brought us a 61 single family portfolio. Obviously, she did not know what to do with it. So I was like, let me go fly out to Vegas and let me go find you a hedge fund buyer. And we actually got connected with a couple of guys that actually have really deep roots out in the Dallas area that's willing to help us out. And the seller, she's given us 31 of the properties first. So hopefully we'll sell those bad boys for her, and then she'll sell the rest of the 30 to us during a wholesale fee. So that's what I mean by like being focused. Like I came into the event knowing like, hey, these are the people I want to meet, and then that kind of branched off into finding other potential partnerships that we can kind of talk about after this. But yes,
Yeah,
be very
I want to
tactical.
Yeah, I want to touch on that particular point where tactical for you means that, and also for me it means intentional. And when it comes to intentional or intentions to the event is like we had a goal, we had people that we want to talk to and try to find within the conference. And if you're going with a buddy or even a friend or somebody that you might know, you can divide and conquer because
Hmm.
2,000 people is not easy to just go through in just a matter of a couple of days. And so, in regards to people that you talk to, like you gotta be like very like a savage with your time. Like I mean, like when you go to these events, like if the person's not like helping you out, like no offense to people that are like doing the stuff, if like just maybe spend like 5 to 10 minutes with them, get what you need, ask for help, provide value, and then move on to the next person. You don't gotta stick around and talk to that person for forever. Work the room as much as you possibly can to actually get your money's worth in that type of environment because it is a lot of people. And honestly, at the end of it, like at the end of the day, they may not remember you. Um,
Hmm.
and to make things more efficient, get a networking card or like an online networking card, a Blink card, or whatever other card there's at. Just don't. I would say don't go in with a bunch of business card like old
Yeah.
school. I mean, you're bringing paper. I mean, you just bring your phone, honestly. And if you don't have that, if you're like on the free, the free discount, you can always just share your contact card on your phone. So if you look up on your phone, like on your name, just share that with
Yeah.
somebody. It's way easier.
Blink
So
is
yeah,
100% free, by the way.
yeah,
And dude, I'll tell you what, man, my first conference I ever went to, I think people started to catch on, but I got like 22 like business cards. They all went to the trash. Like, first off, I'm not carrying that around for 3 days.
yeah,
And then two, like, they're just paperweights at the end of the day. So,
yeah.
this ain't corporate America, bro. You don't need a business card. Just follow me on social media.
And
Um,
and I will say, like on top of that, with the whole networking, yeah, it sometimes it can be very hard to be intentional, and it can be like a situation where I find myself in the beginning like people pleasing. Like I just want to stick around for a little bit longer to see what they're saying, and like, I just kind of want to hang on and like stay glued to this person. But uh, that just kind of says that I didn't have intention at my first time around when I was doing these types of events. I just wanted to like find like a like-minded individual with same type of goals and just kind of see where it took me. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really serve you. You want to meet as many people as you possibly can, and if one person that you talk to connects or can provide another contact for you, that's the way to go. Because if you're going to go there like, hey, I have this goal of finding hedge buyers. Who do you know that you've talked to already that can point me in the right direction? And then vice versa, right? Hey, do you need anything that I might have connections with? Because that's how you share value in these types of environments and these situations where you can be reciprocal and add value to each other. So that's what I mean by that. And then, when you want to leave, you say, hey, man, I'm actually looking to connect with many people as I possibly can. I'm just going to go and talk to more people. Is that okay with you? They're not going to say no, right? They're just going to say, yeah,
Yeah.
do your thing, man.
Do your
Yeah.
thing, man, and I probably should do the same,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Yeah.
I think too, like a lot of people when they meet, they say, "Hey, what do you do?" "Oh, I do
Yeah.
this," and then they spend like, don't be the person that spends the entire like 20 minutes just talking about your business, right?
Yeah.
Just get to the point, like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm working on. What help do you need?" Like that's
Hmm.
I'm focused on what you need, right? And there's a book, How to Influence and
How to
Win.
win and yeah, how
You
to
know what
win
I'm
and
talking about?
influence people. Yeah, yeah. How to
By Dale Carnegie.
influence and win people. Yeah, Dale Carnegie. Good
Yeah,
book.
amazing book of communication. It's so good that I forgot the title of the book, but it's so good at communication because it literally tells you to say, stop talking about yourself and just ask people like what they do. And then the story that they tell is like, let's say you're at like a networking party and you've been asking everybody how they're doing, what they're working on, doing all that, and trying to help them. When you leave that conversation, you haven't said anything about yourself. They will go
Yep.
back to their wife and be like, "Yo, that Tim dude is like pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
He's doing
It's a
some
great
cool
book.
stuff, right? He's doing some cool stuff." And it's like I've never told you what I did, but you make them feel special, right? And then
Yep.
if you go with the like with the conversation of like, yo, what help do you need? It makes someone actually think about what they need, and then they're gonna
Hmm.
say blah blah blah. And if you've been doing your networking game the right way, your cell phone slash blink card or whatever should be a Rolodex of money
Yep.
where you can refer like, yo, I can't help you with that, but my boy Phil can do that, right? Or my boy, Pace can do that or whatever, right? Like you
Hmm.
connect those people together and they're always going to remember who you are and then you're going to get that reciprocated down the road. Promise you that.
Yeah, 100%. And the book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Since we butchered that title, so just figured give you guys a little reference there. And that book was like recommended to me in the very beginning of my real estate journey, just for the simple fact that real estate is a relationship people business first and foremost. People are only going to do business with people are going to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And so they gotta know you, they gotta trust you, and they just gotta. That's how you can conduct business. Um, so with that, like, that topic in mind, like, that's basically what it comes down to. Um, this particular conference in general was a little bit different from what am I used to, since I'm not knocking on this, but like a lot of people were more focused on the speakers and going into like, getting knowledge, like acquiring knowledge, which is great if you're like a newbie. There is like different, I would say, well, not say, but like there is different levels of knowledge, and like your purpose and your intention on those types of events are. Like for Tim and I are a little more experienced, so we were actually there just for the networking piece. Like the things that they were talking about, like we've already. I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but mostly done. So it was kind of like a repeat of knowledge. We were just there to, obviously our intentions to find hedge buyers um, and other partners per se. But Well, I'm used to like networking in the hallways. I'm used to like creating deals, making deals, getting content information, like building out my Rolodex. So just in case where I happen to have a problem or a solution for somebody, I can just like, hey, bang, hey James, I have a solution for you. Hey Tim, I got a solution for you. Or hey, Noble, do you have that particular thing that I'm looking for? Like it's just a better way to a better use of my time versus just for me, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just going into a particular keynote speech and just taking notes. So that just be aware of that, guys. Like once you start going to these multiple things, just try to be more focused on networking. Now, I'm not saying you can like hop into it like a different speaking topic to learn about that, and then just kind of jump back out and just kind of really just start leveraging the people that are there.
Yeah, and there's so many different each conference, right? And I want to also say this too because we're
Yeah,
very honest on this podcast, right? It's these events are amazing, right? I met some of my best friends, partners, and whatever in these events, but just understand that each event you go there, and there's a reason why the host is hosting this conference, right? Everyone's got an end game. One is to provide value, bring everybody to the to the event, and also have some sick speakers to inspire, to to help those speakers out to promote their own product. But also at the end of the day, most conferences you go to, you will be sold something. Okay, that's the end game because it's a business, right? We're all everything's a business, but we've seen different types of conferences. We've seen different types of sales at the end, and we've all
yeah,
seen some types of culture. And Bigger Pockets, BPCON was a different culture than some of the conferences that we both been to. Like Phil said, everybody was actually there to go to the workshops. They were there to go watch the speakers, which some speakers are great, but I'm there to like hang out in the hallways all night.
yeah,
And that's what I'm used to, where there's just thousands of people just in the hallways, just chattering and connecting with each other. That's what
yeah.
I live off of. So for me personally, that really wasn't what I was looking for BPCon, but um, I always got to give credit to the people and the organizations that got me started, right? So Beat Bigger Pockets was a big part of my journey when I first started, so that's why I always support. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think what I gather from this and talking to other folks, it was more like a buy and hold kind of conference where it was rental based. What I mean by that is like people are here to buy or talk about long term rentals, short term
short
rentals, mid term
term,
rentals. And how do I know this? Well, like the people that I talked to, but also the topics that were discussed. Furthermore, all of the vendors that were there were mostly property management softwares and lenders. So there weren't like that many fix and flips. There were a lot of DIY. There was also like white glove service, done for you service where they'll
well, that's a
find the
lot, yeah.
land. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of that going on. So like that kind of gave the indication of like, yeah, we were just basically here to um, do some long-term rentals and all the rental strategies, which makes sense because Bigger Pockets was kind of built off of
Founded on
that in a
that,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's like my ignorance of like, oh duh, no shit,
There was probably no wholesalers in the whole
yeah.
building. You know, I got invited to a BPCon like private party with like speakers and like
Yeah.
podcast hosts, and I think out of like the 50 people that were there, I was probably the only like crackhead that wholesaled, and they actually like looked down upon me like, "Do you wholesale, bro?" I was like, "Yeah, man, it's fun." They're like, "No, it's not fun. Like, don't you want wealth?" I'm like, "You can build a lot of wealth with wholesaling too, but."
Yeah.
It's just a different culture, right?
Yeah.
That's definitely not the demographic that I would go to. I'm probably like a collective genius guy or
Yeah.
squad up summit type of guy, but it was fun. It was fun to see some old friends, and we actually did get some good connects out of it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that kind of segments into don't come into these events with a negative attitude. Have a very open mind because 2,000, 3,000 people is a lot of people. And if that event isn't really your avatar, I guarantee you there's at least one or two people in there that will bring tremendous value to your life and to your business. So keep an open mind to that.
And I would say on that same topic, same vein, an open mind could mean all you need is one connection to be wealthy. You just need one conversation. to spark whatever you need to spark in your head. You just need one conversation to get a really big deal. You just need one conversation to literally
Yeah.
change your life. That's all it really takes. Like, I know that sounds like woo woo and like whatever, but I used to be like, yeah, right. But then it's true. It's like 100% true. It's done wonders for me. Like, I met uh, what my business partners through one conversation, through one connection, and that basically changed the trajectory of my life. And so, yeah, just keep an open mind. Like, honestly, that's the best you can go in with. I think going in also having the ability to be vulnerable especially with in a room of people that want to add value to other people's lives, can speak volumes. And don't be afraid to ask for what you're looking for. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. And you'll be surprised on what you can find and what people actually will give you in these types of environments. And to like to on that topic of other topic where um, being sold to, right? Like these events, I've been to many of these events and I've been sold to, and I bought these big ticket items, and there's always a pattern,
I
guys.
live for
So
it.
if
I
you,
live for it.
yeah, if you're not ready, just no, actually, just be aware. That's all you gotta do. Just be aware, because the big ticket item could be anywhere between $5,000 to $40,000, sometimes even more, right? And to understand the host agenda is, I'm not bashing this, but I'm just letting you know, if I was the host of these types of events, it would be uh, it would be dumb of me not to provide a service for people that actually need it. So if I take all the energy, all the efforts, all the ad spend through Meta, through Instagram, Google, whatever, and I spend a whole bunch of money to get all these people into a room, and if I cannot maximize that room to provide value and then also create multimillionaires out of it from my service or my coaching or whatever, then I have done an injustice. So I bought many of these and I made millions from these. So just be aware, if you're not in the position to take on the offer, don't put yourself in a state of FOMO where you have to buy this because you feel like you're missing out. Just make sure that you are spending your money responsibly, and if you're the type of person that is going to get it, you're gonna have to take action on it. If you're the person that's like, I'm like analysis by paralysis, you're gonna basically buy it and then you're just gonna study all the time and not take any action, then don't do it. You're just gonna put yourself in a huge hole. So just be aware of that, okay, guys? Just like you go to these events, and probably like on the second to last day, they're gonna upsell the living shit out of you. And if you're not ready to take that offer, do not take it. That's all I have to say to that.
I I'm a victim of that. No, no. So these events they cost millions of dollars to put on. Like
Yeah.
these big events that happen with the speakers, with the digital screens, the free food, everything costs millions of dollars. So, it's a business at the end of the day, and you know, these are designed to inspire you. They're designed to make you feel like everything is possible. And
Yeah.
then at the end, they pitch you, right? But the thing is with these masterminds, are these called high ticket, right? High ticket sales. So if you have watched our shows, if you watched, any of our content, we'll tell you exactly what it's like. So it's called a high ticket sale. Basically, you go to these events, you get insane value, you meet a lot of like-minded individuals, and they put speakers strategically throughout the event to validate the host, to make you believe, to teach you something that says, wow, even I can do that. Because they always say, even a normal person can do this. And you're like, damn, that's me. I'm a normal person. So they
Yep.
inspire you, they teach you something, and they ascend the host. And then the host will give out usually a 1 year offer, a high ticket offer that's usually 10K plus, right, for the year. And if you spend that 30 grand, like we've been through a couple of together, actually, me and him are
Oh.
both, mastermind students with the same, mentor. And we know a lot of people that pay the money thinking that paying the 30 grand or 20 grand or whatever it is an instant cheat code to your business. And at the end of the day, it's not. It's up to you to decide what your maximization is, right? Like we had a podcast episode maybe 2 weeks ago about going to a mastermind or going to grad school or whatever it
Yeah.
is, and you can learn more there. But basically, paying 30 grand is not going to make you $1 million. It's how much work you're going to put in, who you're going to connect with, because people who are spending that much money usually are doing something in their business, like that are
Yep.
making them enough money to invest in that. So maximize your time there, like talking to people.
Yep. I will say
It's not the
actually,
videos.
yeah, yeah, it's not the videos. And I will add to that, like, you're paying for a filtered room. So if this room's cost $30,000, there's gonna be people that in that room that's has made $30,000 or more and continuously can make $30,000 or more, right? Furthermore, like, it's I had this crazy like delusion that when I first joined like my second mastermind, that I was, oh, I'm gonna be rich because this person's talking all this sweet game, but at the end of the day, like, that did not happen. Like, I met partners in that mastermind that made me millions. Not the
Mhm.
actual coaches will make you millions. It's literally impossible. Like, really, if you have a room of like 300 people, there is no way in hell that one person can make everybody rich. It's just literally like almost zero. Like, think about that. One person making like 300 people rich, like, you have to like win the lottery, like, and then pass that all out. Like, there's not gonna do that. It all requires you doing the work, you making the connections, you doing like everything you can possibly can to get to your goals. Like, that's what it comes down
Yeah.
to.
I think the biggest takeaway from the last mastermind I did was 30 something grand for the year, but a lot of it was mindset for me.
Hmm.
Um, Same thing with like going to a conference for the first time, right? To kind of
Yeah.
tie it back in, where, I started real estate investing in Louisville, Kentucky, and a lot of you guys know that Louisville is a pretty small city. It's about 1 million people. It's not many people there, but I talk to the same people every freaking week. Every month, I would go to these meetups and meet the same people. And not digging on my town, but like a lot of people in my town did not dream big. And I didn't know what was really possible until I went to a nationwide conference. Actually, BPCON was my first conference I've ever been to in 2022 in Orlando. So
Yeah.
that was my first one ever. And I'd met these dudes that were like, I had probably like 3 properties, and I talked to this dude who was like, "Yo, I got like 80 units," and I'm like, "80 units, like, and you're the same event that I'm at, you know?" I'm like, how can I work together? You know what I mean? It was like crazy just to see what people were doing and like
Yeah.
at what scale, right? And
Yeah.
that was a true eye opener for me to know that like it was actually possible.
Yeah. That's a good point because you have all kinds of experience in different levels, and obviously everybody's there for different reasons. But I think the harder part of coming back from these events is like you're so motivated, you're on this high, and then you come back down to reality. You're like, shit, I'm back into the dungeon. You're like, all right, I gotta grind, I gotta go to my W-2 job, I gotta come back and do like A to Z again. And what I would say to that is like the connections that you made at whatever event you went to, try to follow up with those folks. I'm a pretty bad, you know, advocate for this as far as like I don't do it very often unless I have a real connection. But Phil, you told me to connect as many people as possible. Yeah, but if you have a real connection, like a genuine connection, I would spend more time. I'm a person that I like to go deep on relationships. I think Tim likes to like go wider, like do a wide net. And so that's kind
Shotgun
of how
blast,
we like to,
baby.
yeah, yeah. And that's how we complement each other. I like to go deep into like relationships versus Tim likes to do shotgun blast. Um, so like we complement each other that way. But for the relationships that I like to nurture and like that can add be a complementary to my business, I would spend time with that person, and then see where that goes. And after I come back to the real world, I will then start doing a text message and like maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, and then I would try to continuously follow with them as much as I possibly can. And then basically
Mm.
just tell them what I'm doing, like follow them on social media, Instagram, and then just kind of connect them that way. That way you continue on that connection and then potentially have a partnership or whatever it is that you're looking for within that connection.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. And to tie it all in back to wholesaling and KPIs, speed to lead, okay? Like statistically, if you do not follow up with someone within like 48 hours after a conference, you're never going to talk to them. I've had people in my phone and my Blink, and I look through it. I'm like, oh, I connected with this same dude that's messaging me now, like 7 months later, and I met them in person at an event. Don't even remember. So, if you do not follow up with the people that you want to connect with at these meetups, you will never talk to them ever again. So, what I do personally is I actually make a note, and I gotta hop off soon because I have a training for a
Yep.
community. But what I do is I make a note on my Blink card of like what they do and like why I want to follow up with them. And then when I fly home after I slept for 8 hours, because I haven't slept in like 6 days, that's usually how I go. I don't sleep at all at these events. And I sleep, I rest, and then I go back and I go through my phone and I actually send them like a voice or a video. I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? It's Tim. We met at this event and I meant to like hit you up, right? And like the reason why I send them a video or a picture of myself is so they know my face. So once they see my face, they're like, oh, it's Tim. It's that crazy Asian guy, right? That wholesales.
Yeah.
But like, if I just send them a text message, I'm just like everybody else is probably texting them. So
Yeah.
try to stick out, try to, maximize your impression, and it goes a long way.
Yeah, guys. So that's it for us. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. This is Due Diligence After Dark, episode 4. See you guys next week. Peace.